What's up, all Power Ass Crew? Today we are changing the fluid in my front differential in my rig. Now, if you guys have followed my channel for some time, you know that I've done a video before on how to change your differential fluid. This was a little bit different. I'm pushing the fluid into the differential by air pressure. Sound cool? Come on, show you how to do it. Let's pull the cover off and I'm going to reuse my gasket. Yeah, you heard me right. You'll see why. Ew, look at that nasty stuff. Didn't have a whole lot left in it. And then right there's the reason I'm reusing my gaskets. I use only differential gaskets I use as lube blocker. They do not leak. And as long as when you take them off you don't bust them, you can reuse them over and over and over again. I've had my diff cover off a couple, rear diff off a couple times. No issues at all reusing it. Just be gentle, and you don't need any Permatex. You don't need any gasket sealer whatsoever. Just put them on dry. Just make sure your cover's dry and clean, and your differential's dry and clean, and you're good to go. Now off camera, I just took me some brake cleaner, sprayed inside there, got it all broken up, got me a rag, wiped it out real good, sprayed it down again with the brake cleaner to make sure the inside of it is clean, no debris whatsoever. Checking my gasket surface right through here. Of course, it coming off that differential, I knew it was going to be good. They always double check, make sure everything's good before you put it back together. Now, I need to go pull the one off that one. Now, as far as cleaning up the gasket, where I use lube locker gaskets, I don't spray anything on them whatsoever. I just simply take me a clean rag, paper towel, whatever, wipe it down good so it's dry. Double check. You're going to have some impressions like this right here. When I put it on this other diff, hopefully those impressions are the same as. Of course, you know, the stamping here is going to be a little different. But as long as your bolt pattern is correct, you can reuse these gaskets over and over. These gaskets rock. I'll drop a link so you guys can pick one up if you need it. Now what you want to do is back these bottom bolts out here just enough to hold the cover in place but create a gap. Because we're going to get in the top here and get a screwdriver and wedge this thing back to pop it loose from the diff, and then the grease should drain out. Boy, grease is thin. And once you've cut most of it, go ahead and take the cover on off. Some dad rolling in. Yep. Stuff's thin as water and coming out black.
What?
It says thin as water and coming out black.
Okay.
But the guy I bought this thing from, he said they used to run it through creeks all the time, so who knows what's inside this thing.
There's water in it.
It didn't look like it. It just the grease was super thin where it hasn't been changed in forever. So now that we've got the cover off, I'm going to take me some brake cleaner and see what we've got. Ew, gross. What you want to do is once you get the cover off, there's a pocket right along in there Put your finger down inside that pocket. Pull out anything you feel. And look, just kind of feel of it. If you feel any kind of grit or anything like that, you might want to start checking for deeper issues. But other than being burnt and nasty, ain't nothing like the smell of differential grease. Other than being burnt and nasty, it feels smooth, so we're good. So I'm going to clean out all the junk inside here with some brake cleaner, and then we'll relube it. Then I got to scrape all this right here off. So clean out the inside, scrape this off, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Before you start spraying the brake cleaner, put on those safety glasses, because brake cleaner will eat your eyes up. It hurts, I'm telling you. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but look real close at one of my spider gears. Right there. See how it's chewed up? Yeah, so my spider gears do not look good at all. My ring and pinion, well, I can't see my pinion gear, but what I can tell about my ring, it feels like it's okay. But those spiders, it's seen better days. Well, that's okay though. I have got a lunchbox locker in the house that I will be putting in a little bit later. So once you get the brake cleaner part done, get your paper towel stuffed inside here, down inside that hole, and soak up all the junk. Okay, we'll get a little different angle. We'll look at the pinion, the ring gear. Of course, you can't see the pinion because the pinion's way up inside there. But oftentimes, if you look at your ring gear, it'll tell you pretty much what the pinion's doing. And best I can tell, my wear pattern is set right in the center of my teeth. Because the outer edge through here, yeah, I can see my wear pattern. I don't know if the lens, the camera's gonna pick it up or not. But I can see where it's setting at, and it looks good overall. See the back side of the teeth here. I've got a little bit of factory machining here. So my wear pattern is set right in the center. So it looks like my ring gear's okay. Well, so some of y'all are gonna ask us, Chuck, why don't you go ahead and put the locker in now since you got it tore apart? Which is actually a very good, valid question. But welcome to the world of YouTube creators. I can't put it in right now because I want to show you guys the difference it makes in the rig with locker, without locker. I've got access to some property up and not far from here. I can go up there and climb some hills. Okay, it'll climb this one, but it won't climb that one without the locker meaning. So then I install the locker. Hey, look how much difference it makes. It'll climb this hill now before it wouldn't without the locker. See what I'm saying? And 2, I didn't know the exact history of this diff, so I wanted to run some clean grease for a while. Therefore, if there's any kind of debris inside of it, abrasion, stuff like that, I want to catch it now before I put, a $230, $240 locker in, and it gets chewed up because there's a bunch of junk inside the diff. So I go ahead and change the grease now, run it for a little while, shoot the video for, hey, look at me climb this hill, or I can't climb this hill. And by the time I do all that, anything that's inside the axle housing will be cleared out and it should come into the grease itself. So when I drained out to put the locker in, I'll put new grease in, and I know for sure that if it's clean, then my locker's protected. A little bit of more money up front to protect the money on the back end. See what I'm saying? Alright. So now we'll get my razor blade, clean all this gasket material off this, and we'll be putting the cover on in just a bit. Then we'll show you guys a trick putting grease in. Now after you get all the gasket stuff scraped off, get your little brake cleaner, put on your rag, go around there, wipe it off. No oil residue whatsoever. Because those lube locker gaskets, you've got to have a dry surface for them to work. So wipe it down good with that brake cleaner, and once it dries out good, wipe it down again with a paper towel and slap her on. No Permatex, no gasket sealers, none. Now I just want to express something just so no one gets in confusion. If you are using the lube blocker gasket, this right here, if you're using the lube blocker gaskets, you do not use any type of sealant whatsoever. No Permatex, no gasket sealer, whatever you want to call it. If you are going old school and putting the cover directly to the diff, then you use the Permatex gasket maker, whatever it is you want to call it. If you're using a paper gasket, then use your gasket sealer, stuff like that. The only time you don't have to use the gasket sealer is with these particular gaskets here. Any other method, use your Permatex, your gasket sealer, whatever. I know I kind of sounded redundant repeating that, but I'm just trying to make a point. Because sometimes I get these questions. You said not to use any gasket sealer on it. only if you're running those loop blocker gaskets. I just want to be clear so there's no confusion out there, okay? Sweet. Alright, I'm going to put this thing back on and holler at you in a minute. Now, if you happen to use an impact like I do sometimes, one thing I want to express, much like doing lug nuts on a car, take your bolt, put it in, 1, 2, 3. Run in at least 3 threads, something like that. Because I've seen people put their impact, put this up inside an impact, stick it on there, pull the trigger, and just run them in. If you cross thread these, you're going to have a mess. So don't do that. Start them by hand, turn them 2 or 3 times, then you put your impact on there and run them on in. Okay, got them all both put back in and tightened up real well, and I had to take this back off and put my data plate back on. This plate, if it's still on your differential, if you look real close, right there, it's got 3.55. That means your gear ratio is 355. So if somebody asks what the torque specs are, I'll pop it up on the screen here somewhere. I do everything by feel. I've been doing this for so long. I know how much to tighten it, how much not to tighten it, and all stuff like that. So I'll just pop a number up here if you guys want to use your torque wrench to get it all picture perfect and stuff, but I'm not that picky. So now I'm going to get me a 1/2 inch extension that'll fit in there, get out past the tie rod here, and get that out of there so we can put some juice in it. There's usually a 3/8 extension, stick it up inside there, and just get you something to tap it in, make sure it's in there good and solid. Take your ratchet, put on it, and just break it loose and back it out. They got a skeeter trying to munch on me. I'm in a really weird position with the camera and everything up in the way. And get it broke loose and just back her on out. Ta-da! Alright, so I'm going to get my hoses set up for the juice and we'll put some in. This is what we got rigged up here. I took the top off this grease bottle and kept trimming it little by little until this tubing is like a really tight fit pushing it through. I mean, it's a pretty tight fit because you want it to be airtight, is what we're after. You'll see why here in a moment. What did I use? Right there. Inside diameter 1/4 inch, outside diameter 3/8, and I picked this up at Lowe's. But I'll drop a link where you guys can pick some up off of Amazon if you don't feel like running to the store, so it's totally up to you. But again, you just simply take the top off the bottle, trim it back little by little until you push this in from this way, and you got to force it through, but not so much it's going to collapse inside diameter of it. So what we'll do from here, I'll grab hold of it with my other hand and pull it on through till we got a little bit of it left that we're going to stick all the way to the bottom of this bottle. So I freed up my hand. Trim it off enough, stick it up through here like this. You see it pull through, we'll push through. Get hold of it and pull until we got enough that our bottle here, that we're going to have a little bit folding to the bottom of it. A little bit more. A little more. That should about do it. And to give you guys an eyeball what we got going on here. We'll take this, and if it kind of laps over like right here, basically you want this toward the bottom of the bottle as much as possible. It's wanting to roll up, but whatever it does, it's going to push against the side, on the side of the bottle here, and that should prevent it from going up like this. You're not extracting most of the grease out of it. So at this point, and if you guys want to know what weight I'm using, 80-90. Some will differ. I mean, it depends on how you feel froggy, what size, what weight grease you want to use. If you do a lot of heavy rock crawling, I'd go with a heavier lube, no, run all the way up to 140 or something, because it puts a lot more pressure on your gears. This rig right here, it will get wheeled again, shall I say, but not on a very hard regular basis, because it is my daily driver after all. I got rust bucket whenever I finally get it built. Then we'll take this, feed it down the side there, screw that back on. You're like, now what are we gonna do? Okay, now we're gonna take right up in here, poke us a little hole. Push it in a little bit. Better with a 4-way screwdriver, still a flat. Just stab a hole in, why not? Sure, why not? Because it's still going to work well with this. We'll take this end right here, we'll press it against that, we're going to inject air into it slowly. It'll pressurize this fluid, it'll push the fluid out the tube, straight into the differential. Let's try it out. Hold on right there. This next scene, I could have taken it out of the edit. You guys would have never known the difference. But this is just a perfect opportunity to show you guys how airheaded I can be. I mean, duh moment. Okay? So we have oil, bottle, one excess hole, and compressed air. What could go wrong? Really? Just watch. Okay, we'll get our tube running there first before I hook up the air, because don't want that hissing sound. We'll feed our tube in toward the bottom as much as possible. It's mostly because it keeps from popping out on you. I mean, if you just hung it right over this right here and held it, that's fine too. But I'm going to tuck it down the side there, which gives me both hands free. Look at that crap. I poked the whole way through the side of it. That was smart. See if we can work with it anyway. So don't do what I did. Stab a hole. There she goes. See if we can still make this work. Now, when you're providing you don't have a hole through the whole thing, apply your air pressure slowly and easily, because it will blow oil everywhere if you do it wrong. See? I done knocked a hole in this bottle over here. It is not going to work. Alright, never mind. Try a different option. See? Told you. Duh moment. Alright, on with the show. So I modified another bottle that I didn't poke a hole all the way through it. See right there? Single hole. None on this side. I almost did though. Got a little bump right there. So now, whenever you control your air right here, gently, 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 gently apply that pressure. See, I barely cracked the valve right there. You can see the flow coming up the tube now. If you push it too hard, you're going to blow the top off this thing. You're going to blow oil all over you. So now just apply the pressure. And gently, you're not in a hurry whatsoever, okay? But gently, 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 gently do this. You feel the bottle start to swell. And that's when you just kind of very easily run that air pressure. And it'll force all the fluid out of the bottle into the differential. But if you do it wrong, you're going to have an oil bath. Alright, so this is going to take a minute. I'll be with you guys in a bit. I ain't going to bore you to death. Watch me do this. Okay, so we finished off the first bottle. You see right there's the air bubble. Put the air pressure back on it. motorcycle goes by. See, just put a little more pressure to it. Now at this point, I'm going to take my next bottle. And since I poked a hole in that bottle over yonder, I'm going to pour it in this bottle and we'll push it on through with that. So I'll be back in just a minute. So while I was swapping bottles, I took the other end of the hose that was sticking down inside this and simply stuck it inside the differential hole, so for any grease would drain down inside that. Most of the time it just pulls up in the holes here. So now we're going to feed this back down inside there and go for bottle number 2. Let's see, I got shoot the side of the bottle. Back on it. There was still some left in the bottom of this bottle here. Now I poured another bottle on top of it, which made it too full, so I started the hose in it. Y'all get to see me make a mess today. Now I can do all kinds of cool movie editing, make it look all perfect, but hey, I'm gonna give you guys real life. Alright, let's shoot some junk in there. Again, super easy with this. And there she goes again. Now some of you are going to say it'd be just as easy pour it from the top down inside this, and you're right, it would be. But then I wouldn't be showing you guys a cool trick either, so. But there are some cases where it's ridiculously hard to get into a fill spot, be it a transmission, differentials, whatever. This is a procedure you can use to do that. I've showed how to change fluid differentials before, but I've never shown this trick here before. So, anyway, enough of the gabbing. I'm going to cut the camera off and finish filling this up. Oh, looks like we're done. It's running out the diff. And so that's how you know when it's full, because it starts running out. It goes like about half a bottle there. Yeah, we're good. Stick your finger in it, also it's running out. Yeah, we're good. And at this point, put your fill plug back in, and you're good to go. I'm going to try to sit it somewhere not to make it more of a mess. Nothing special on the threads, just screw it in, snug it up. It does not have to be tight. I mean, you want to tighten up for it to stay in, but you ain't got to put 100 foot-pounds of torque on it either. Okay, like camera's completely in my way right now, but you got the point. Now this is our air pressure trick. There's times you can use it, sometimes it's just simply overkill. This is actually one of those overkill times to where I could have put the bottle above the tie rod ends and all stuff like that, and the bottle would drain down into it, no problem. Just put a little short hose onto it, it'll fit right to the differential, easy enough. But in past videos where I've changed fluid and differentials and transmissions and transfer cases, stuff like that, I've never showed you guys that trick. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been holding out on you guys. I can't do that to you. So, whenever you got a weird spot that, you know, like on some transmissions, particularly manuals, they're in such a weird spot that you got to get way up inside there, the bottle won't fit, and all this kind of fun, crazy stuff. There you go. Cool trick. Easily push it in. Just be careful with that air pressure. Because if you blow the lid off your bottle, you're going to get sprayed with oil. Well, you see when I poked the hole through the side of the bottle, I sprayed myself with oil. And I was kind of watching a preview through my little viewfinder thing. I went back and looked at the footage. There's little oil spots all over my lens and stuff. Yeah. My poor camera's covered in oil right now. That's why I buy cheaper cameras. I know people who got $500, $600, $700, $800 DSLRs out there shooting their YouTube channel and stuff. I go to Best Buy, I look at their clearance rack, and I buy the better quality but the least expensive camera I can get, because this camera is covered in grease right now. I gotta wipe it down, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I don't spend a whole lot of money on cameras because of that fact. Now, I did buy a camera a while back that was $50 on Amazon. It had all these great reviews. It did 4K, stuff like that. I messed with that thing for maybe an hour, and I knew right then and there that the quality just wasn't going to happen. It just was not going to happen. My old camcorder died. My old camera died, whatever, and I missed that one. It was a Sony. I'm using a Canon now, the one I'm talking to you on right now. I definitely like my Sony camera better. This one works, but I've got this lens, which you guys obviously can't see because you're looking through it and I'm looking at it. That lens is actually my wide angle lens. It goes to my DSLR, because this camera right here has such a narrow field of view that in order to capture the front of the Jeep, I have to stand way back. This lens helps me pop it out. So anyway, enough about the camera stuff. You also got to see my dad come rolling in on the lawnmower. He's a super cool dude. He really is. He's retired. He's just chilling at the house. Ain't got a whole lot to do. So he'll cut his yard. He'll drive across the street. There's a little lady over there. She's 101, 102, I think, something like that. She's up there, still mentally teetotally with it. She's just not up kicking though. But she is such a sweet lady. So Dad will cut his yard. He'll drive across the street, cut her yard. And he comes cruising down. I live next street over from him. He'll come down here, he'll talk to me a little bit, he'll jump on his mower, cut my yard. He may stop and chat, or he may keep on rolling. Never know. But he says, you're doing the weed eating. No problem, Dad. I'm good with that. Appreciate it. So everyone, if you enjoyed this video, hit me with a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave some cool comments down below, and I hope you learned something from it. Peace out. Later, y'all.